What is up, YouTube? How's everybody? Oh my god, I almost killed myself. Guys. I almost died, and you wouldn't have gotten this really awesome video that I'm about to make. But what is up, YouTube? How's everybody out there doing today? If you guys did not check out the very last video that I made on the 4L60E rebuild, do me a favor and check out that link right here, guys. That's the last video. You'll understand what's going on. If you click on that and watch that video first, you'll understand where we're at on this transmission build, and you won't get freaking confused on what the hell I'm doing right now. But basically, this video is going to be about assembling this guy right here. The input drum, all the input drum clutches, forward sprag, into this transmission, this 4L60E transmission, probably one of the notorious transmissions for failure. But we're going to show you how we solve some of these little issues with this transmission. That way it survives and works and doesn't fail under normal everyday use. Now, when we are talking about high performance drag racing use, there's a whole bunch of other different things that I do to these 4L60Es that I'm not doing to this one, because this is literally a stock rebuild with a few little upgrades that I'll show you, and that's about it. The high performance builds, they're a little different. There's a whole bunch of other different parts that are included in that build. If you guys are interested in one of those builds, whether it be a stock 4L60E or a high performance 4L60E transmission rebuild, and we also do TH400s, Power Glides, TH350s, A604s, and many other transmissions as well, email me in the email below in the description, and I'll be more than freaking happy to answer your questions and help you guys out if you're interested in doing a build on your transmission to help it either be a stock build or a high performance build. All right, obviously on to the show. You guys are probably like scratching your head and being like, Andy, when are you gonna build this transmission right here? And we're gonna build it right now. So the very first thing that we're gonna have to do is obviously we're gonna have to put on my freaking weird ass head mount so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. We're gonna actually be using the wash tank here to clean up this drum real quick. We're gonna take it apart, reassemble it with new pistons, which we have here, which is a very fun thing to do. You guys are going to enjoy watching me struggle to put these things in this transmission or in this input drum. Then we're going to restack the clutches, and it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to actually put a dual cage 29 elements frag right here, BogWarner 29236AM, into this thing as well, because it is a stronger part, and we do like to upgrade those as well. We have all of our awesome brand new clutches right here, 3/4s and all that stuff. And we're gonna start putting this thing together. So let's get the head mount on and get to work, guys. All right, guys, here we are with the input drum. We're gonna turn it up here, that way you guys can get a little bit of an inside look of what this thing looks like. So basically we're gonna take this bearing out, we're gonna put it to the side because we don't need it right now. Then this seal right here, we're actually gonna take it out because we have a new seal, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna replace that with a new seal. And at this point in time, basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take one of our snap ring pliers here, and we're gonna have to put this input drum, just like so, in the press. So if you guys can see in here, let me get my flashlight here. There's a snap ring right here. Here we go, let's get to where the snap ring is. Right there, you can see the snap ring. Basically what we have to do is we have to get that snap ring out. At that point, it's going to release this spring, and then all the pistons can come out as well. It's kind of a pain in the butt a little bit if you've never done it before. There we go. And then basically, here's our spring setup right there, guys. So this, usually what I'll do is, just to make sure I know I'm putting everything back in place again, put that upside down. And to be honest with you, the easiest way to get these pistons out of here is this way right here. There we go. So we've got two of the pistons out, which, as you guys can see, not that one, but as you guys can see, it's these two pistons here, right there. So we got those two pistons out. We do it on the floor as well. And there we go. Basically, all this in here needs to get cleaned up. There's a lot of let me get down here. There's a lot of metal, a lot of gunk in there that needs to be cleaned up. Now that our input drum is all nice and clean, for the most part, we're basically going to go backwards. We're going to clean all these parts and then put them back in. Now, just for future reference, I do use a feeler gauge, 0.010, 0.011, whatever you guys want to use. Something that's a little bit flexible to try to get these guys in. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So we're going to start off with our first seal, or our first piston, which is this guy right here. So sometimes this will go in, and sometimes it does not go in. And you need to kind of finesse it. This is kind of a more of a, there we go. Now you guys can see that piston is in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean this guy up here, which it's literally, you can wipe it down. Maybe we'll spray some brake clean on it. Get a little bit of lube here, put it on the inside, like so. There we go. And this is going to sit down in these grooves. As you can see, the fingers coincide with the grooves. And that sits in there just like that. The next thing we have is our little piston spring here. So we just clean that up a little bit, make it look pretty. And that goes in there too. Let's get some blue grease on here because this actually sits down in that seal down there. And we want to make sure that it goes in there with the utmost ease. There we go. Okay. This is the fun part. Then we have our spring, piston spring. We go ahead and clean that all up. And then what we do is we bring it over here to our press. There we go. So the next step that we have to do here, guys, we have to stack our clutches and all that fun jazz. So the very first clutches and steels that we have to do are the overrun clutches, which is only 2 of them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean up our steels here. As you can see, the steels are in really, really good shape. They obviously line up like so. And then we'll go over here. Grab all of our clutches that are left. We have well, these guys we don't need those clutches just yet. We just need these clutches here. So these are overrun clutches. They go in there like so. One dead one. Grab another steel. Clean it up, make it look pretty again. Drop that guy in here. And another overrun clutch right there. This is our forward sprag assembly. The way the forward sprag works is it locks going this way, so counterclockwise if you're looking at the back of it, and it releases towards you if you're holding the big end to the right, small end to the left. So that's how you want to make sure it gets assembled again. So you want to release and then tighten away from you and release towards you. And these are kind of interesting to do. And what we do here is we actually upgrade these with a dual, we'll get this guy out of here, a dual sprag setup. Now, if you guys don't know what a dual cage sprag setup is, you see how this is a 29 element dual caged setup. There's 2 cages that hold these elements, and they call them elements, in sync here. And then we have the stock setup. As you guys can see, the stock is 1 cage, where this is dual cage. Honestly, wiping it down with a rag, maybe a little bit of brake clean will work just fine. So now we'll put that on there. Put that on there. And the biggest thing here, guys, is making sure that you put it back together correctly. And sometimes, even myself, to be honest, I do get mixed up. All right, so we have our sprag in. Got to go ahead and put our other piece on there. That goes in like so. And then this guy here goes in like so. And then we just put our snap ring back in place, which is not very hard to do. Like that. Make sure everything's nice and clean, which it is. And then test it. So we lock this way, unlock that way. So lock, unlock, which is freaking exactly what we wanted to do. Now what we need to do is we need to put this guy in here, and it needs to engage these two clutches, which isn't too hard to do. There we go. You can kind of hear it getting both clutches, and you can hear it when you press it down, or when you let it drop down, you can hear it as well. And now we can stack our clutches right here, which we're gonna do right now. There's one. Then we have another steel. This should be a wave plate. If you guys don't know what a wave plate is, I'm gonna show you what a wave plate is. If you guys can maybe, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's not completely flat. This actually has a wave. It's a cushion plate, basically. Boom. And then we have another flat plate. We'll clean that off. As you guys can see, these steels are not messed up or burnt up at all. They actually look really, really good. Put that on there like that. And then we have our first clutch, which we are going to be using these new clutches here. And like I showed you before, take the old clutch, put a new clutch in. Very, very, very simple, guys. And our last clutch, as you can see, these clutches were pretty damaged, pretty done for. We'll get our top plate here. Definitely gotta make sure you get it nice and clean and all that jazz. That goes on top like so. And then we have another snap ring. So basically you just sit it down in there like so. Use your little flathead screwdriver to just kind of help it along. Bingo. There we go. So that's now snapped in place. And then our next set of clutches are going to be our 3/4 clutches. We have our top plate, which we will clean up very nicely here, and we'll stick that in place as well. And then, last but not least, is our top snap ring for our 3/4s, guys. So basically it just goes in there like so. There we go. Clearance feels good. Alright guys, as you can see, the input drum is now built. It's all completed. All of our clutches are in. Our new seals are in. And we're pretty well set to go forward with the next step. So the next thing we got to do is our input reverse drum. Now, I had a spare one sitting around here, and the spare one is in much better shape than this one. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to replace... There's our little bottom plate. We're going to replace all the internals from this input reverse drum to this input reverse drum, so that, you know, we don't use the old one over. This one's just not in my liking. This is a used one here, but it's in very, very good shape, and I'd rather use this one than this one, to be honest. Our other clutches, we got our new clutches here, and a clutch, old clutch, and get this all put together for you guys. And then obviously we have our top plate. Clean that up, make it look pretty. Stick that guy in there. And then last but not least, like usual, it's all repetition gear, guys, all repetition. Our snap ring goes on top like so. So the next step basically is what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this upside down like so. This drum here goes on top like so. Look at that. Now the key thing here is you have to get this input reverse drum and all those clutches. You see the lugs, the clutches there, and you see the lugs on there. They all have to line up, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to do. This one's being a little bit extra salty with me. Clutch. Oh, there we go. Now if you, I don't know if you guys can see down in here, but you can see how the top of that drum on the inside is touching the bearing. So you hear that? That tells you it's all the way down. So the next step is that whole assembly needs to go in here, and that is also very fun as well. So we'll pick it up and we'll get it in here like so. Now you have to weasel this thing around too. This is our secret weapon. A lot of you guys are probably like, what the heck are you doing, Andy? But this is our secret weapon. Basically, we put this on here and we give her hell. There we go. I mean, maybe you can see it is down below that ledge. And another way to tell is you pull up slightly on this input shaft, and there's a little bit of space between the input shaft and the reverse drum, the input reverse drum here. And that's how you know that's fully seated. The next thing we got to do is the good old pump right here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This video would be way too long if I tore this entire pump apart and showed you every little inner workings of this pump. Now, basically what I want to do is I do want to show you the inner workings of the valve body, which I'm going to be doing a separate video on for you guys. But basically, I'm going to skip the pump. I'm going to take it apart off camera, clean everything up, lube everything up, replace, there's like little filters. There's a filter in here that needs replaced. There's an O-ring, a seal, all kinds of little dumb stuff in here that I'm not going to show you guys, unfortunately, because it's just honestly just going to take way too long, and I'd rather focus a video on the valve body instead of the pump here. And this pump is in good shape, just needs taken apart and cleaned up. Doesn't take very long to do. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I will install the pump on camera with you guys and show you the final assembly of the entire top end of this transmission, guys. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clean this pump up, put new rings on it, get it all situated, and then I'll come back to you and show you me installing it. Pump is ready to go. I figured I'd stop short of it and show you guys. We're going to be putting a new front seal in this. Actually, what we need to do, put a little bit of blue grease in here, just for lubrication for the new torque converter. Definitely want to get that right. So if you just hold this like this and just kind of hammer down on the edges, that seal will go down. It might cause you a little bit of an issue. There we go. We need to put our band in, and our band goes in here like this. It is, there we go. There we go. Okay, now take a little screwdriver here. If you guys look right here, if you remember from the first video, there is a anchor right here. It is, my hands are dirty. There is a band anchor that goes in place. That goes right there. Boom, look at that. It does not get any simpler than that, guys. I mean, it really doesn't. Like, a lot of people might get a little scared of doing one of these transmissions, but it's not that scary. It really isn't. That goes like that. So basically, when this turns and you're going into second or fourth gear, that piston over here gets fluid right here, gets fluid in there, and it pushes that together and holds that drum. I can't hold it because I'm not strong enough, but it holds that drum and creates second and fourth gear for you guys. Now that we have the band anchor in, we can put our gasket back on, which, like I stated before, is very easy to do. You just kind of sit it in there, line up all the holes. As you can see, all the holes are lined up. Obviously, you'll know this because if you put it in the other way, for example, let's put it in the other way, you can't even line the holes up. You can see all the holes are really mismatched. So there is only one way that this gasket kind of goes on. And that be it, guys. That be it. The next step is, obviously, we're going to be putting in our pump right here, which is already lubed up, ready to go. So we'll take a screwdriver, stick it down in one of the threaded holes here. There you go. Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and slowly put our pump bolts in. Now we'll just hammer this thing down. Now that that's down, basically just like a wheel, we're just gonna slowly torque them down here, or not torque them down, but torque them down after we get this seated. It's that way. There we go. That pretty much keeps the seal from ever wanting to pop out. All right, guys. One more part of the puzzle done. As you guys can see, we still have the valve body and all this other junk to clean up, which we will be doing in the next video. I'm going to show you a little bit of a detailed description of the valves and the valve body and all that fun jazz. If you did enjoy this video, do me a very big favor. Give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Instagram, Diablo Formula Racing. Facebook is also Diablo Formula Racing. And be on the lookout for the next video on this 4L60E, guys. Hope you all have a good day. Deuces.